You can't miss these 7 details in the JonBenet case. In the countless investigations into the mysterious case of little JonBenet Ramsey, we've heard too much about the ransom note, the intruder theory. But there's one strange thing that very few people mention: feces. Yes, you heard right. Mysterious traces of feces appeared everywhere in the house, but it seems that the police ignored them, or intentionally hid them. Today, we will analyze 7 important details that I believe can shed some light on the long-buried truth. And you will be surprised. But before we begin, I want to send my sincere thanks to all of you who have always supported the channel. I know my content may not be perfect, but I am trying to improve every day. If you have any suggestions, please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help me develop more interesting content. Now, let's start with the first detail. A grapefruit-sized piece of poop was found right on JonBenét's bed. Was it just a coincidence, or an important link in the case? Let's find out right away. Grapefruit-sized feces found in JonBenét's bed. One of the strangest discoveries in the JonBenet Ramsey case was the presence of a large fecal mass in her bed. This was not only an unusual detail, but it also raised many questions about the family background, the psychology of the people in the house, and even the direction of the investigation. The Ramsey family's maid, Linda Hoffman-Pugh, told police that this was not the first time feces had appeared in JonBenét's room. According to her, JonBenet had had problems with her personal hygiene, possibly due to stress or some deeper cause. However, what was shocking was that this time the feces found was large, not like that of a 6-year-old. This raises 2 big questions. If JonBenet did not do this, then who did? And why did this strange act occur right before or on the night of the murder? First is the possibility that Burke Ramsey was involved. Burke has a history of fecal matter, including smearing it on bathroom walls and hiding it in his sister's belongings. If he was the one who left the feces on JonBenét's bed, it could be a sign of anger, jealousy, or an underlying psychological problem. Some child behaviorists believe that children may use feces as a way to exert control, protest, or express insecurity in a tense home environment. However, this detail has not been extensively investigated to date. It has only been mentioned in interviews and testimony, but no forensic evidence has been found to confirm its origin. This raises the question: was this an important detail overlooked in the investigation, or just a random, unrelated event? 2. Smearing on the bathroom wall, the sign of a serious psychological problem. One of the strange details related to Burke Ramsey is the habit of smearing feces on the bathroom wall. This is not only mentioned in the investigation documents but also confirmed by a maid of the Ramsey family, Geraldine Voter. But the question is this just a child's prank, or is it a sign of a deeper psychological problem? Fecal-related behavior in young children, sometimes playing with dirt, even smearing feces, can occur during a certain stage of development. However, when this behavior is prolonged or repetitive, it is often considered a sign of a serious problem. Psychologists believe that fecal smearing may be related to feelings of loss of control. Children in stressful or pressured environments may use fecal smearing as a way to demonstrate control over their situation. Sibling jealousy. Some children engage in fecal smearing due to feelings of neglect or jealousy of their younger sibling, especially if the younger sibling receives a lot of attention from their parents. Burke, who is 3 years older than JonBenet, was described as a bright but somewhat withdrawn boy. Some reports suggest that he may have felt jealous of his sister because JonBenet received a lot of attention due to her success in beauty pageants. If Burke did have a fecal smearing habit, it could reflect an inner turmoil, or even be an unconscious way of expressing anger toward JonBenet. The fecal smearing may have been more than just on the bathroom wall, but could have been linked to other traces in the house, including the fecal matter on JonBenét's bed. If so, is this just a coincidence, or is there something more sinister going on with the night of the murder? While this behavior may simply be an act of mischief, in the context of a murder mystery, every detail can be important. If Burke did engage in this behavior, it could help us understand more about the boy's state of mind at the time, as well as the relationships between the Ramsey family members. Did the police ever consider this behavior as a possible motive? And if so, why wasn't it explored further during the investigation? 3. JonBené Ramsey's pants were turned inside out and stained with feces. While investigating, police discovered a curious detail: a pair of pants that had been turned inside out in the girl's bathroom. Notably, the pants had an unidentified stain and did not appear to match the pajamas JonBené wore before going to bed the night of the murder. Was this just a coincidence, or was it important in determining what really happened to JonBené in the final hours of her life? Investigators could not immediately determine who the pants belonged to. If they belonged to JonBené, why was she wearing a different pair of pants that did not match her pajamas? Did someone change her pants after the accident? If so, who did it and why? It is possible that JonBené had her pants changed after a personal hygiene accident. There was some evidence that she may have had trouble urinating at night, such as the presence of several pairs of soiled underwear in her closet. This would explain why someone would have changed JonBené's pants in such a hurry, but why inside out? This suggests that the change may have been done in a hurry or inattentive manner, perhaps due to stress or panic. The pants had a stain of unknown origin. If this was just JonBené, why was there no forensic analysis of it? Could the stain contain DNA or other markers that could help identify who had worn or touched the pants? In many cases, the victim's clothing is often a key source of evidence, as it may contain biological traces of the perpetrator. However, in the JonBené case, it appears that the police did not focus much on analyzing the pants, or if they did, the results were not widely publicized. Some theories suggest that the inside-out pants could be a sign of a struggle or an event that took place in a state of confusion. If someone in the family was trying to hide something, changing the pants in a hurry could be part of that effort. This could also be related to why JonBené's pajamas did not match the pants. Perhaps someone tried to change her clothes but did not quite finish. What do you think about the first 3 details? Do you also feel that something is extremely suspicious? Leave a comment below to discuss. And don't take your eyes off the screen, because the next 4 details will help you understand why the police may have deliberately hidden this truth. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Now, let's continue. 4. The candy box with feces, the detail that connects the case. The police discovered a very strange detail: a candy box with the feces in the girl's bedroom. This is not a normal detail, but a strange piece of evidence that has many people wondering. How could a candy box, a favorite of children, be stained with such filth? Some criminal psychologists believe that deliberately contaminating food with feces can be a form of psychological harassment or a sign of pent-up anger. In JonBené's case, if the candy box was intentionally soiled, that person may be trying to send a hidden message. Could this be Burke Ramsey's behavior? According to some reports and statements from the maid, Burke has had unusual behavior related to feces, such as smearing it on the bathroom wall. If this is true, then the poop-covered candy box could have been part of a pattern of behavior, perhaps motivated by jealousy, anger, or a desire to gain attention. On the other hand, it could have been a random incident. JonBené could have accidentally soiled the candy box, or someone could have thrown it in her room without noticing. However, given the circumstances of the case and the many strange details involving poop, it is hard to believe that this was an unrelated incident. Finally, the poop-covered candy box remains one of the most mysterious and unexplained pieces of evidence in the JonBené Ramsey case. Was it really a hidden message, or was it simply an exaggerated detail? 5. Lots of dirty underwear in the closet, an unusual hidden detail. During the investigation into JonBené Ramsey's death, police discovered several pairs of dirty underwear stuffed in her closet. This was not only a strange discovery, but also raised some interesting questions. If JonBenet had a hygiene problem, why did her parents not deal with it and instead let the dirty items accumulate in the closet? Or was this a sign of a more serious problem, a secret that the Ramseys did not want anyone to know? JonBenet may have had problems with hygiene. Some children may have bedwetting or digestive problems that lead to frequent underwear changes. If this was the case, her parents, especially Patsy Ramsey, may have tried to hide it because they did not want to tarnish their perfect family image. However, if JonBenet really had a hygiene problem, why did Patsy, who was known to be a controlling and meticulous mother, let it go without addressing it? Hiding dirty underwear in a closet is not a normal behavior for a child with parental supervision. Another, more controversial theory is that the dirty underwear could be evidence of abuse. According to some investigators, abused children sometimes show signs of having problems with their underwear, such as changing them multiple times a day, hiding dirty clothes, or having unusual stains. Furthermore, a notable detail is that when the police seized JonBenét's clothes, they discovered that she was wearing underwear that was too big, not her usual size. This is extremely suspicious. Who changed her underwear after she was murdered? Could it be related to the dirty underwear hidden in the closet? If these dirty underwear were indeed a sign of something more serious, is it possible that the Ramseys knew about it but chose to keep quiet? Patsy and John Ramsey have always maintained that nothing unusual happened to their daughter before her death. However, their cold response to details like this raises many questions. 6. The toilet was not flushed. Evidence of someone being in JonBenét's room the night of the murder? Who could have used the toilet that night? If JonBenet had used the toilet before she died, that would indicate that she had woken up that night. However, what is unusual is that if she had used the toilet, why was the toilet not flushed? It is entirely possible that a 6-year-old could have performed this simple act. This raises the possibility that it was not JonBenet who used the toilet, but someone else. It is possible that JonBenet woke up during the night and found someone in her room, either an acquaintance or a stranger. If that person used the toilet and forgot to flush, that would indicate their presence in her room just before or during the murder. One aspect to consider is if JonBenet had woken up during the night, how might she have reacted when she saw her attacker? If she was frightened or trying to run away, her attacker may have rushed in without paying attention to small details like flushing the toilet. It has also been suggested that the attacker may have used the toilet but was interrupted by something, such as being discovered or feeling the need to leave the room immediately. This could explain why they did not perform the usual action of flushing before leaving. So, did the police collect a water sample or biological traces from the toilet to determine who used it? If there were DNA traces or forensic evidence from the toilet, this could be an important clue to determining who was in JonBenét's room on the night of the murder. However, at the time of the crime in 1996, forensic technology was not as advanced as it is today, and it is possible that the police overlooked this detail. If the evidence from the toilet bowl was overlooked, it would mean that an important opportunity to solve the case was lost. 7. Who used the toilet in the basement? During the investigation, police discovered the presence of fecal-stained toilet paper found on the toilet in the basement where JonBenét's body was found. This detail, while seemingly insignificant at first glance upon closer examination, could be an important link to the killer. The basement was not the Ramsey family's primary living space. The presence of fecal-stained toilet paper left on the toilet suggests that someone used the toilet there at some point in the period around the time of the murder. But who did it? This is not the only evidence of fecal contamination in the case. We have previously learned about feces on JonBenét's bed, stains on the bathroom wall, suspected to have been caused by Burke Ramsey, poop-stained candy box in JonBenét's bedroom. This means that the presence of feces in the crime scene was not an isolated incident, but a systematic factor. So, could this be a sign of the killer? A message? Or part of the Ramsey family's unusual behavior? In many murder cases, the killer often leaves behind distinctive signs, what crime experts call signatures. These signs can be the way the victim's body is arranged, a particular action, or a message. If the killer did this on purpose, it could be to leave a strange message or to express some kind of paranoid obsession. He did not clean up the crime scene. This suggests that the killer may have felt safe in this house, as if he did not fear being discovered. During the investigation, the police overlooked many small but potentially important details. There is no information that they tested the fecal-stained toilet paper for DNA or forensic evidence. If they did, they might find evidence of the identity of the person who used that toilet. So, what did y'all think about this video? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what y'all gotta say. We'll be digging into more details in the next videos, so don't miss out. Alright, that's it for now. See y'all next time.